Hello everybody, it's Dana Sullivan, the Stampin' Chick, here with another Make It Monday! How are you today, my friends? I hope you had a fabulous weekend. We had a fairly eventful one, and now I'm ready to come and play with you wonderful folks and show you a super sweet card. And I posted on my blog the card sketch for this particular project, and it's really fun and great project to do with any theme of paper and stamp set. So get your papers, get your stamps out. Let's play a little bit, okay? Hi, I see some folks are coming on. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, so here's what I'm using. I have the Art Gallery stamp set. I love this one because it has this really nice two-step stamping to it, and it's just a lot of fun. So we're going to use this stamp set. I'm also using Mossy Meadow ink, Bumblebee, and Misty Moonlight ink, and I thought I would mix in a little old product with new product. So my old product is Art Gallery, and my new product is called Harvest Meadow Designer Series paper. Now let me just pull this out here and show it to you. Hey there, Miss Carol. Hey, Miss Kim. How are you, ladies? I see a lot more folks are in here. Say hello. Maybe Facebook will let me see your comments today. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't, and that's just technology for us. So all right, so here is the what did I say? Harvest Meadow Designer Series paper. So pretty, right? Now this is in the new upcoming it's called the July-December catalog, but I always call it the holiday catalog, and I'm just gonna stick with that because even though it's the July through December catalog, it's not going live until the 3rd of August. So figure that one out. Okay, so this is the catalog, and because it hasn't gone live yet, of course, I can't show you what's inside, but you can see some sneak peeks of fabulous new upcoming products on the cover. And starting the 3rd of August, we are going to have a second celebration. Yes, that's right, friends. You heard me correctly. A second celebration. Woo woo! I'm so excited for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so the Designer Series paper. Okay, beautiful stuff. Harvest Meadow is the name of it, and I'm just going to flip through it real quick so that you can see. We're using this Misty Moonlight paper here, and on the back side has a beautiful is this Cajun Craze, actually. You know, it looks a lot like Calypso Coral, and it's so hard to tell sometimes. But thankfully, Stampin' Up! Is really good to us, and it tells us right here on the back of the package what the colors are. So, there have been times when I really needed that, and this is definitely one of those times. So, this is Cajun Craze, and we're using this one here as well, and you can see that Cajun Craze in there, and there's also just a little hint of Misty Moonlight inside there, which is really nice. And so we're going to use this one as well as this. I think that they go together very nicely. And then on the back side of this one, you've got this beautiful wheat pattern, which is really pretty too. And then here's some Mossy Meadow, and on the back side, a beautiful Bumblebee. And I love that the patterns are kind of a soft and laid back style, right? They're not in your face. They're a very subtle and beautiful paper. So here's the back side of this one. And then this one actually has an embossing folder that coordinates with it, which, if I grab it here, It's called Time Worn Type. It's so pretty. And I have a card base I started working on. I'll just show you because I've got it right here. This is actually white cardstock that I embossed with the folder, and then I took pool party ink and a blending brush to really make the embossing pop. Isn't that awesome? And then I've got it raised up on adhesive foam, and I'm not exactly sure what this is going to look like when I'm done with it, but I know it's going to be beautiful because this embossing folder is so pretty, and you can see how it coordinates with the designer series paper, which is lovely, isn't it? Okay, so that's the front of that one, and then on the back side there's that beautiful wheat pattern in the bumblebee color, and there are the other two of those pieces. And then the last one is a really pretty, nice and subtle, and then on the back side is this gorgeous pattern, which I know I'm going to use for something fabulous, probably a box, but I haven't done it yet. So as you can see, I've just got this stuff recently, and I haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to play, and I've been trying not to get too focused on the new stuff when the new annual catalog just came out recently, and so I'm still using all of that stuff new, and you know, it's just a lot of new all at once. So anyway, hi Miss Sharon, how are you? All right, so let's get to the measurements and other paper supplies for the card, okay? So we're going to need a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches and is scored at 5 1/2, and this is going to be our card base. Go ahead and burnish that down. And then you'll need a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 for the inside of the card. Because it's a darker card base, we're going to need a white layer for the inside. This piece measures 3 inches by 5 inches, and it will go right there. This layer measures 3 inches by 1 inch, and it's going to go right here. Now you don't have to worry about the measurements right now. They're going to be on my blog. In fact, it should be live at this point, so you can go there and find all of the measurements. This one is 2 3/4 by 4 inches, and we're going to stamp on this, and then it's going to layer right here. Okay, so that's our card base. And then I have another piece of that beautiful Misty Moonlight Designer Series paper. This one measures 5 7/8 by 2 1/4 inches, and this one is going to be for the flap of the envelope. Okay, so if you want to coordinate your card and envelope by having the Designer Series paper carry over, then that's what you want to do. All right. So let me put this stuff aside, and I'm going to bring in my Pierce mat because this is a photopolymer stamp set. And as you can see, I've been doing a little bit of playing with inks and colors. And this is Cajun Craze. And I had thought that maybe it would be just a slight hint of a rusty color. Don't do it. It's icky. Just don't do it. It didn't work. Okay. I'm doing it so that you know not to do and you won't waste your paper. Okay, there we go. All right. First thing you want to do is grab your Mossy Meadow ink pad and that little stem. Tap, tap, tap. And we're going to put it kind of at an angle too. And let me just... Mossy Meadow is one of those ink pads that it kind of... dries out a little bit quickly. Okay, so I'm going to put this at a little bit of an angle, but not too much because I want to be able to fit my thank you in here. There we go. And let me close this up. You know what? Let's go ahead and stamp the outside and the inside at the same time. So that way, while we have them, we can just do that. Okay, now this one I am going to stamp off a bit so that it's not so big in the center of the card, and it'll give us a little more room to write our sentiments in. Okay, now I'm going to take that Bumblebee ink, and this is the two-step stamping for the flower. So I'm going to take the more solid shape. Let's just tap it in here. And then you can see kind of where that little V is. I'm going to line it up right about there so that it joins up with the stem. Isn't that beautiful? Of course you could leave it that way, but when you add another layer, even of the same color, it really adds some texture and dimension to your card. Now I'm going to focus on this little arched piece right up here to line up my stamp, because it's not the same shape entirely, so it may be a little off-putting. But if you line up that top piece, it helps you line up this overlay pretty darn good. So as you can see, beautiful flower, and you see the different texture now too, don't you? It's beautiful. Okay. Oh, listen, don't do that. We're doing two at a time here. Okay, so we'll bring that inside piece again, and that big solid full one, stamping, tap, tap, tap. Line up the little V with the top of the stem, just like so. There we go. Beautiful. I love this bumblebee color. It's so pretty. It's probably one of my favorite yellows ever. Alright, now we're going to line that top arch there. That'll help us get a nice even stamp. Close this up. And then I'm going to bring back my front panel and the Misty Moonlight ink. And now I'm stamping this little thank you. Now you guys know I always need thank you cards, so I really like doing those. Of course you could do happy birthday or whatever you needed. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I love these colors together too. They're very nice. Alright, now that we have these done, I'm going to set them aside, and I'm going to bring in my card base, and I'm going to ask your forgiveness because I have to use a leftover snail. I have officially used all of my Stampin' Seal. Can you believe that? And I have an order coming in on Thursday, but it can't get here soon enough. So I'm just going to use some leftover snail, and we're going to put this piece right about here. Now I'm remotely closer to the top and a bit closer to the left hand side. Somewhere in there, and of course that doesn't have to be perfect, but I would like it to be straight. Looks pretty decent though. If it's not straight, don't tell me. Alright, here we go. Now we're putting this little strip on, and honestly you're hiding about half of it, so if you wanted to do a 1.5 inch piece here, you could. My girls who are saying, oh my gosh, Dana's wasting paper. Well, that's because I really wasn't sure how far in I wanted to go until I was already done and it was already cut. So that's my excuse. But if you would like, you could certainly cut this at 1.5. So it would be 1 inch by 1.5 inch. Alright, now this piece I'm going to pop up on dimensionals just because this is a pretty simple design. And I want to give it a little bit more interest than what it might have being flat. So it's wonderful how you can just pop up a layer with dimensionals and it makes all the difference in the world. So it's great. Alright, let me put these in the garbage. There we go. And now we're just going to layer this right about here. Let's see. Let me go a little higher. There we go. Looks pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to bring in some of my favorite rhinestones ever. These are the holiday rhinestones, and I love using them for all occasions on top of the holidays. They really aren't just for holidays. Okay, and we're going to put a stone there, and then one here. Okay, and then I'm going to take one more and put it down here. There we go. Let me get that out of the way, and then I'm going to use some of my snail. And I'm using more than I necessarily would with the Stampin' seal, and that's just because now that I've been using the seal for so long, I'm used to it being so super strong. Okay, there we go, and now that beautiful inside is done, and I love it. Okay, now for the envelope. So I will tell you that the easiest way, I think, to do this is to put a little scrap piece of paper between the flap and the envelope itself, and then take your multi-purpose liquid glue and spread it around the entire flap. And notice I'm being super thin with it. I'm not getting crazy. I am going all over the whole thing, but I'm not putting it on very thick, just very, very thin, okay? And then, with the envelope on the table, I can put the flap on the table too, line it up with the edge, and then glue it on. And one thing that does is it helps to make sure that the edge of my designer series paper is right up to the edge of my envelope. Okay, so I don't want it to hang over the edge, and I don't want it to be short of the edge either. So now that we'll do this and just give it a good burnish. Now, you could leave it this way if you like the square look. However, I will caution you that when a person opens it, they're going to see it on the inside. So if that doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother me. I think it's great. But I'm going to go ahead and trim mine up. So let me just bring in my scissors. And I'm just trimming right around the edge of the flap itself. Okay, so this is not a spectacular move, it's just very simple, and the flap of the envelope actually guides your scissors very well. Here we go. Easy peasy, and it's done. And then you have this beautiful flap that coordinates with your card. Isn't that great? Now, on this envelope, I also stamped the little flower on the front. So if you want to do that, you certainly can. We'll go ahead and do that because I haven't bothered to clean off my stamps yet. So let's go ahead and add our stem. And we're going to stamp it at an angle and off the edge because we really don't need it to be so big and in your face on the front of the card or on the front of the envelope, right? So let's just do that. There we go. Oh, thank you, Miss Sharon. I'm glad that you like it. All right, let's get that bigger flower base. Line up the V with the stem. There we go. And then one more. And line it up with that arch up on the top petal. And, oh, look at that, I got ink on me. That's okay because that's where I'm going to write. So I'm going to cover that up strategically with the Oh my goodness, I'm getting ink everywhere. I'm going to line that up strategically with the person's name and address, so I will hide that because that's what we do. There are no mistakes in paper crafting, only room for embellishment, right? Right. All right, so there is the card. I hope that you guys love it. Now, I have another card that I'm going to put together with you. If you want to hang around with me, I'd love to just visit with you for a few minutes and put this card together. It was actually, I think it was last week's Make It Monday, but I wasn't able to do Make It Monday video because I had my Hostess Club meet up on Monday instead of the usual Thursday that they do meet, because I know most of you have seen on my Facebook that I lost my Layla girl not too long ago, and so she happened to pass on that Thursday morning, and I really wasn't up for paper crafting or pretty much of anything. So I rescheduled it for Monday, which ran into Make It Monday, so I'm really sorry about that. But I thought that maybe if you were interested in hanging out for a minute, I would go ahead and show you how I did this card. Okay, so you can see the one that I just did with you. This one will be on today's Make It Monday blog post, okay, and you can find the measurements and the supply list there. Now, the only thing you won't find on the supply list is this designer series paper because it's not available until August 3rd, okay, so I don't have that on the list yet. Of course, if you're a demonstrator, we're able to pre-order a little bit early, so you may already have that in your stash, or you may want to order it. So either way, and then this card is from last week. So this one is really fun because it's a different kind of card. It's not a regular folding card. As you can see, it is more like a postcard, and it uses the United Through Creativity digital download. Now, this is something that Stampin' Up! Had started. Oh gosh, oops, I bumped the camera. Stampin' Up! Started it with, what was it? A thing they did last year for COVID, and it was such a huge success, and Stampin' Up! Actually had sold that download for $5 a piece, and it brought in a nice little donation to a couple of organizations, the CDC and the WHO, I believe, to help with the research and study of the COVID virus so that we could get a vaccine sooner. And so that was a lot of fun. And then Stampin' Up! Released this one, United Through Creativity, not too long ago, and this one is actually free. So you can go to my website, danasullivan.stampinup.net, click on specials, and you will find digital download, and you can download it there for free, which is wonderful. And it has images and sentiments, and you can see like they're really cute images and some sentiments in various languages, and then there are a bunch of colors, and the images are all black line drawn so that you can color them in. And anyway, I think it's 12 or 13 pages maybe, and so you can see as I'm just kind of browsing through here quickly that there are some really pretty sentiments and images here. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's totally free. I mean, you know, you can't beat the price. So anyway, go get the digital download, or you can see my blog. Last week's blog post has a quick link to the to the digital download there. So anyway, and then it tells about this card. So I thought I would go ahead and put it together for you, since I still had the supplies already cut and ready from last week, and I didn't have the opportunity to put it together. So, you know, this gives me the opportunity to get it put together so that I can actually use it, and it gives me an opportunity to share it with you as well. So, what you're going to need, this is the Scalloped Contours dies. It's the largest of the frames, and I am in love with these dies. Let me just grab them. They're part of the Color and Contour bundle, but the dies are so pretty. You have these various frames. You've got a beautiful stitched scalloped border, and then you have a couple of flower dies that coordinate with the stamp set itself. And the stamp set is really pretty too, and it's got some gorgeous sentiments. So this is a great one to have, but at the very least these dies, because oh my goodness, right? They're amazing. Okay, so I used the largest of the scallop dies, and this is Flirty Flamingo cardstock. I used a piece of 4 5/8 by 3 1/4 of Petal Pink cardstock, and then I ran it through the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. And then we'll just put some adhesive on the back of this and attach it to the front of our frame. So we'll do that. And then on the back side, the same size in basic white cardstock, we're going to attach to the back, and this gives us a place to write our note or whatever we want to. All right, so let's just put this in. Now, because this was using the digital download, I wanted to use the sentiments as well. And so everything that I'm using, aside from the die cut, of course, and the cardstock, is from the digital download. So there's no stamping involved in this. It's all just the printables and some Stampin' blends that I used to color in my image. Okay, and I used the Tasteful Labels dies to die cut the sentiments out from the digital download printout. Okay, so you can use various dies, various punches to go over the sentiments. So as you can see here, like here's this one here for you through thick and thin, and you can see it's already done in different colors. And then I just took that die and lined it up over the sentiment and ran it through my machine, and that's how I got it on here. So it's a great way of getting some really neat sentiment pieces. With this one, I just cut it out and dovetailed the ends. And then this one is the tailored tag punch. And then these are these two here. Okay, so just to give you some ideas, very, very fun. And, you know, there were a lot of images, and you could just take these images and put them on a little TV tray while you're watching a movie in the evening or whatever, you know, and just spend some fun time coloring, and it's relaxing. And, you know, and then you'll have all these little colored pieces. And I just fussy cut this. So, let me grab that piece right quick. It came on a page like this. It had 3 different sentiments, and I colored it in, and I just fussy cut around it, and that gave me this piece right here. And so now I want to put this on dimensionals because I want to give it some depth on my card. So let me just add dimensionals here. Alright, pull the backings off, and then we'll attach these directly to the card. So just like this. Beautiful. All right, and then on this one, I'm going to use the darker gray. And what I did is I put a dimensional on the left side, and then I put just a little bit of adhesive runner or liquid glue, whichever, on this side to overlap. Okay, I'm going to do that, and then line it up like that. Is that straight? Well, it could be better. Let me try that again. Here we go. Listen, if I fidget with it too much, do you know what I'm saying? When you fidget with things, it ends up going haywire. All right, there we go. Okay, so now we've got it. Okay. And then I'm bringing in some of those rhinestone basic jewels. Let me bring in some bling bling here. And I'm going to use some of the small ones and put one here. Put one here. And whoop, put one over here. There we go. Alright, so that's the card front. And then on the back side, of course I didn't want it to be plain, but I also didn't want to put this right in the middle because I wanted to have room to write a note, right? So I thought to put it up in the corner, and that worked out really well because then it left me plenty of room to write a note, right? Let me go ahead and pull the backing off of those, and then I just put it at a little bit of an angle. So I'm gonna come in here and right about like that, and then there you have it. You've got your card with room to write a cute little note on the back side, and this fits in an envelope perfectly. Now, you know, I always say no naked insides and no naked envelopes. And there are a lot of things that you could do with the envelope if you wanted to. You could just draw some stripes across the flap in the same colors as her shirt. Or you could use a coordinating DSP. You know, that bumblebee. Let's see here. What about... I'm going to try to pull from this designer series paper that I had out here. Maybe this more subtle one, like this. That would coordinate pretty well, and you could put that strip across the flap of the envelope, and that would give it a little bit of color. You could do all sorts of things, so let your imagination run wild, of course. All right. Now, I've already once upon a time shown you these cards, but since we're talking about the United in Diversity download, let me just, United through Creativity, if I say it right. These are some cards that I had done from what Stampin' Up had shown in the pictures. So here's one that says, "How's it going, A?" And of course it has the Canadian maple leaf, and then I use the stitched rectangle shapes here, and plenty of room to write a note inside. Here's another of those, "Here for you through thick and thin." I use the apple pie, and then the brick and mortar embossing folder. And then this one's my favorite. I used the TaylorMade Tags dies, the smaller one, for the backgrounds, and then fussy cut each of the flowers and the sentiment. Super cute, huh? Alright, so these are all elements from this same digital download. So you can create all of these cards using this digital download. So it's super fun, very versatile, lots of possibilities there. And I would absolutely love to see what you guys come up with. So I hope that you go over to my website and download it if you haven't already. And you know, do some crafting with it, have some fun, and then maybe head over to the Stampin' Chicks Facebook group and share your pictures there, huh? All right. Okay, guys, well, thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening. I really hope that you have enjoyed this evening's projects. The United Through Creativity collection, as well as this week's Make It Monday card. And there is a challenge over on the Stampin' Chicks group on Facebook for the layout for this card. And I put the layout on the Facebook group and a post about a challenge, a creative challenge for you to recreate using supplies you have on hand, and there would be a prize patrol involved. Yay, prize patrol! So be sure to check it out and join in on the fun, and I look forward to seeing whatever you come up with using the same basic layout. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.